Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew back here, and welcome back to episode 2 of the review, BPL edition. Let's jump right into it with Zlatan versus Southampton. Man U versus Southampton. I said this in my predictions. Wherever Zlatan goes, he's going to do well. And this was another example of that. Zlatan created things. Zlatan made things happen. Zlatan beat Southampton. Pogba put in a great performance in the midfield. And with these types of performances, Rooney's able to go forward and be more creative and be more useful to the team. With Rooney going forward, Zlatan doing Zlatan things, Bailey being strong, De Gea doing well, this team looks unbeatable. Without any injuries, this team is unbeatable. Now on to Stoke versus Man City. Man City beat Stoke 4-1 this weekend, and this was the type of game I was assuming to see after their rather disappointing performance at Sunderland last week. Everything looked really good for them. Aguero was in form, Fernandinho was creating lots of chances through the midfield, and they defended well. And I also think Iheanacho is going to be super great off the bench this year. He's going to provide that spark that other teams just aren't ready for. He was really composed on the third goal. Instead of trying to just put it in from a tight angle, he picked up his head, put the ball across, and he created a goal for his team. Had it not been for a terrible PK call against Sterling, which definitely was not a penalty, this would have been a perfect game for City. For Stoke, Joe Allen is their savior, the Welsh Chavi. What else is there to say about him? He created all of the chances for them this weekend, and outside of Shaqiri, he's the only real attacking option. But somebody in the Stoke front office needs to start spending money. They need a new center back. The amount of times he gave the ball away in the back this weekend was unacceptable. And we've already talked about their forward problem. They need a striker that's consistent. But if you can't spend that money, can somebody please buy Arnautovic a first touch? I can count at least 6 different times where they were going on a fast break against City, they played the ball to Arnautovic, it came off his foot, and the attack was dead. Stoke have a lot of work to do this season. But with Joe Allen showing that he can pull the strings in the midfield, there's a lot of promise for this team. As for City, if they want to be contenders, this needs to be their level of play each week. On to Everton versus West Brom now. How you don't call a foul on Stecklenburg after he got taken out on that corner kick in the first goal for West Brom is beyond me. But all that aside, it's really great to see them rebound and not give up after the first goal. Last year, they would have been down and out. 1 goal in, might as well give up. It was really good this year to see that after 1 goal, they can fight back and keep working hard. Mason Holgate looked really good this week as well. But the main thing I'm taking is that this was a game that Everton showed that they're not going to give up if they go down. They're going to keep fighting for that goal. To Burnley, Liverpool now, where Burnley takes a 2-0 win over Liverpool. A pure game of defend for your lives and counter hard. Burnley were outpossessed 80-20 and had 26 shots against with only 3 for themselves. And yet they still come out with a 2-0 win. I said it before and I'll say it again. Andre Gray, you give him time, he's going to produce. Scoring a goal and getting an assist in this game. Defour also was a start in the midfield and he's going to be really good for this team. That he can be the solid piece that they've been looking for to push them up. As for Liverpool, it's plain and simple. They need to be more consistent. On to the controversial game of this weekend. Watford versus Chelsea. Chelsea come from behind to beat Watford 2-1 with another Diego Costa winner. And we already talked about last week how he probably shouldn't have been on the field this week for a second yellow that he didn't get in the West Ham game. But before he scores his game-winning goal, there's another disputed yellow card for a complete dive that 100% should have been given that second yellow. Now Costa got 2 game winners in 2 games. Had the referee done his job, it would have been 0 in 1 game. But it's in the past. But just like Everton, it's important for a Chelsea team who was very underperforming last year to be able to pick their heads up after they go down 1-0 and fight back for those 3 points. Now on to Tottenham versus Palace. Tottenham beat Palace 1-0 this weekend with a goal from Victor Wanyama. Even though that's not why they brought him in, it's good to see that their transfer is paying off and getting them points. Townsend and Zaha were real contributors to this team, but as we said before, without a pure striker for them to count on, it's going to be tough for this team to score goals. It's going to be tough for this team to win games. They can do as much work on the wings as they want, but without a true forward, this is going to be a rough season for Palace. On to the craziest game of the weekend, Hull versus Swansea. Whatever their manager is telling them, Hull City need to keep doing. 6 points out of 2 games is the best you can do for a team that's been, by every video I've ever watched, put at 20th. Nobody thinks they're getting out of the relegation, let alone out of last place, including myself. Their backline continues to be their strongest focal point, with Abel Hernandez continuing to put the goals away. The only question they're going to have surrounding them is what happens when Hernandez falls out of form and doesn't start putting the ball away, and what happens if one of their defenders goes down. How far can they bend that back line before it breaks? On to Leicester versus Arsenal. Lots of shots, not many goals, 0-0. Leicester starting Moose on the bench definitely hurt them because he was one of their main focal points against Hull. His speed down the wing is crucial to their attack, and without him it was just not the same. For Arsenal, this is more proof to the we need to buy a striker claim. However, on the bright side, Czech had a great game, Koscielny is back and playing well, so at least you can say your back line is holding well. But like Hull, how far can you bend that back line before it breaks? And then you're counting on a striker who can't finish. Now on to Sunderland versus Boro, the game of the Americans. American Youth International Lyndon Gooch gets his start for Sunderland again, while Brad Guzan is in goal for Boro. Boro takes a 2-1 win. Negredo, without scoring many, proved to be a vital part in each goal, having an assist in both of them. But Stuani was the real hero for Boro this weekend. Boro are not going to sit down this season without a fight, and they keep proving it here. But we're going to have to see how they handle better teams. Stoke is a mid-level team, they tied them. Sunderland, probably in the bottom part of the table, they beat them. What's going to happen when they play teams like Arsenal, Tottenham, Everton, who should fall in the top half this season? That's going to be the decider. I feel like Lenz is really underutilized for Sunderland, but David Moyes continues to keep him on the bench. And in the final game of the weekend, West Ham versus Bournemouth, West Ham pick up their first win in their Premier League home opener for their new stadium. They did it in exciting fashion, letting it go down to the 84th minute to score the winner. Miko Antonio nods one home and gives the home team 3 points and a huge win in their first game at home. Antonio's goal came off the assist of Torre, who I think was one of the better players in the game. He was very active and he created a lot of opportunities, which I think going forward, once he blends with the team a little more, is going to prove very well for West Ham. But that's it for this week's episode, guys. Make sure you check out the last one if you haven't seen it already. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. But until then, be good.